The Cincinnati Bengals at the Arizona Cardinals. Bengals favored by 3, traveling to the desert. I just want to go on record. I want to be the first one maybe to declare this. I believe Joe Burrow's injury is having an effect on his play and the rest of the Cincinnati Bengals offense.
Bold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took me 4 weeks to
really
nail it down.
Well, you got to give it a large enough sample size.
Well, we went through this whole flow of, at least I did. Week 1, he's kind of rusty.
Well, to be fair, the injury thing has only really been once he re-aggravated it, right? So that's only really been 2 weeks.
True. Who did they play week 2? They lose again in the Ravens. It was a little better in week 2.
But even then, he supposedly aggravated it right at the end of that game.
True.
So that game doesn't really count. Week
1 he was rusty. Week 2 the offense was a little bit better.
Yeah.
Week 3 re-aggravated, dink and dunk offense.
Week 4 injured.
Week 4 playing through the injury and clearly looks like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's having an effect.
Yeah.
On the Bengals.
I mean, look, you can see the change in what the offense is they are running exclusively shotgun now, the most shotgun of any team in the NFL, which isn't normally the case. They normally run a lot of it, but nowhere near like all of the snaps, right? Which is basically what's happening right now. Assume
they're just trying to save a couple steps on handoffs.
Exactly.
Basically.
Yeah. I think they just don't want him like pounding that calf on the way, back from center, getting depth, get out of there. Like the earnest footwork the quarterbacks have to do from under center to get the hell back and get some space. They're like, leave him in the shotgun. Then he can just rock back and he's done. His average time to throw has gone from being like he's never on the far end of the spectrum, the rushing quarterbacks, the guys that always have the longest average time to throw in the NFL, but he's usually reasonably higher in the middle. He's shaved like 0.3 of a second off that on average. Now the fastest sort of average time to throw in the NFL type area. So that has changed. The average depth of target we talked about last week, it was 4.5. It's been 7 or something, 6 or 7 for the entire season. It's way down on where it usually is. Like every data point shows you that this offense, A, has changed and B, has gotten more sort of basic and toothless, just trying to protect his calf.
On top of all that, despite all the investment, despite all the talk, Bengals offensive line, number 27 pass blocking grade in the NFL right now.
Which is kind of hard to do when you have a quarterback getting rid of the ball quickly. Like that's, usually that will...
There's a little bit of help. We can give you a little bit of help.
Right. Well, it minimizes how long you're exposed to blocking, which means you're automatically going to end up with a slightly better grade because you simply don't have the opportunity to get your ass kicked as much as guys who have to hold on to the ball another half second every single play.
Yeah, so up front, pass blocking grades, you have Orlando Brown and Jonah Williams, a little bit below average so far this season. There are some Orlando Brown detractors who will say, we told you so. Far, you told us. And
Jonah Williams, not bouncing back after kind of the worst season he had at left tackle, then asked to switch to the right side. It isn't resulting in a, rejuvenation.
But you also have under par performances from Alex Kappa and Ted Karras, guys that, are usually solid. They are the epitome of creep back toward average, if not better than that from an offensive line perspective. And then Cordell Volson struggling once again. So it's been rough up front. It's a quick-hitting passing attack. When do they come out of this? When do the Bengals come out of this? At what point do they just say, hey, we can't just have Jamar Chase being a horizontal receiver. We got to start throwing the ball to him down the field. T. Higgins has the injured rib, is it, right?
Yeah.
He's going to play through it. At what point is it just, we know we've got these dudes outside, we have to get them the ball?
Can you imagine playing receiver through a broken rib?
No.
That sounds like it would suck. I've never broken a rib, but every time you talk to somebody that has, they're like, it's the worst pain I've ever experienced in my life. And when I say that...
Every time you take a hit.
No, forget the hit. When they say that, they mean like coughing. Breathing or moving, right? And he's out there taking a shot over the middle from a safety with that. Like, God. Okay, I would assume he's doing that with some, with some pain medication involved. Having said that, that still sounds like it would suck.
Yeah.
Don't want any part of that.
That'd be terrible. Do you have any other analysis on this football game, Sam?
Well, I don't see what they can do to fix it. They're doing these things because Joe Burrow needs them to happen in order for his calf to be protected. Can you just go, you know what? We can't win like this, so sorry, Joe. You got to play like it's a regular game.
Yeah.
Go ham.
Remember when Peyton Manning would make that the wide zone handoff, and you got to take it from under center and sprint to a spot just to get to the mesh point to hand it off to a running back like that. The Bengals run more of like a mid-zone scheme. It's not as extreme, but those are the types of plays you're talking about, right? Like we have to make this quick burst, like 3 steps to go get a handoff, and that does really limit the entire offense. So in place of that, it's been dink and dunk, underneath stuff, get the ball into the hands of our playmakers, and that doesn't play to the strengths of any of the receivers for the Bengals. That's not – I mean, Jamar Chase is good enough at it, but, you know, it's like asking Tyreek Hill to pass block, right? I mean, it's just not what you should be doing. And they have to make some adjustments. On the other side, from a Cincinnati perspective, one of the big questions coming into the season, we've got some more information 4 games in now, how are they going to do with the new safeties, Von Bell, Jesse Bates out, Dax Hill, Nick Scott in, both guys grading below average, especially Nick Scott. Mike Hilton having the worst season of his career from a grading standpoint, tons of missed tackles and just being out of position. So some of the things that the Bengals needed to get better haven't, or just, you know, replace, haven't been great. And then you've got regression in other areas.
I've never noticed this before, and I don't even know if it's a long-standing thing. I need to look it up. But we got roped into doing some sort of scanning of those preview packets that we send out to various people as a company. And there was one nugget in there on the Bengals and Mike Hilton, who apparently, when lined up in the slot on the right side of the defense, is like the best slot defender in the NFL. When lined up in the slot on the left side of the defense, he's like 25th in every number. Is that a thing that's always been the case? Has he always been the most right-sided slot defender in the NFL? Or is this just a weird-ass, completely random sequence over 4 games?
Weird random sequence.
I need to go check that, because if that's a thing, that's amazing.
That would be pretty
I've never heard of that before.
Cardinals on the other side, you got Josh Dobbs playing some good ball. You got Dennis the Barbarian Gardeck sitting at 4 sacks. We know that he'll get one. How about the Barbarian going up against those Bengals tackles? Something to keep an eye on.
Just another chance for sacks. Just another sack opportunity. Oh, we have Barbarian updates, right? Didn't somebody...
It was Ron Wolfless. It was Jesse the Body Ventura.
Allegedly.
Sound double.
Allegedly. Now,
that named him the Barbarian.
This is only coming from Simon Liang, and who knows if he's a reliable source or not. I still think that the Barbarian and or his people decided to nickname him the Barbarian because that man gets sacks. Just Dennis Gardeck is a career special teamer.
All right, man. It's the Discord game of the week, meaning our people in the Discord struggled with this one. They struggled. Will the Bengals on the road, who have looked atrocious offensively, will they actually cover 3 against Arizona, who has played above their skis every single game?
By the way, just one last part of that Simon Liang email about Ron Wolfley. And he said it's not even the best or worst nickname that he's invented. That would be the Japanese fighting fish, which for some unexplained reason was what he called Larry Fitzgerald.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
Same. But it is a pretty awesome and or terrible nickname, depending on your point of view.
Could be both.
I kind of like Arizona here.
Home dogs.
Yeah.
Arizona.
Mm-hmm. Like they've been playing everybody tough, and this Bengals team is not the team that we thought it would be on both sides of the ball for different reasons, I think. So I think Arizona can keep this really tight, and this might be a field goal at the end either way. Three's annoying, but I still think Arizona.
All right. I don't love it. I'm going to go Cincinnati. They're just dragging me down this path again. I think they're going to try to make an adjustment. They've seen too much. Last week was rock bottom. They're starting to come out of it for the Bengals.